champion of the world were. No one, especially in America, no one knew who it was. That's why it has been so stressful. It has been so hard to build here in America because 10 years nobody knew. And now that it's finally exciting again, now people are finally aware of what's going on. It's coming each and every time, each and every fight, building, building, building. People understand what's going on. So with that being said, we must deliver the major fight. That's why I took low risk, high reward, high risk, low rewards for Ortiz. That's why I went and made 50-50 with Tyson Fury when he didn't deserve that. He's not a champion. He come around the lineal, yeah, but you know nobody.
What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. This is the Counterpunch on the latest Deontay Wilder interview, part 2. He wasn't done with his interview, and I kind of got off that first video because it was lengthy. But I decided to listen to it, you know, the rest of it. And, you know, I made a video about Deontay saying, you know, I took low risk, high reward. I think he thought about, took a low risk, high reward. I mean, a high risk, low, I mean, high risk, high reward. Yeah. Man, look, that was classic. But, you know, he started to get on Fury. And he's like, that's why I accepted 50-50 with Fury. And he didn't deserve 50-50. But he wanted to sacrifice that in order to get him in the ring. You know, because he said that, yo, he's a lineal champ. And
what that is. They know what a belt is and all that. Nobody knew who Fury was here in America like that. I wanted to make these fights happen for a specific reason because of how exciting the heavyweight division is now, and I want to keep that alive. And now that it's developing, I understand about the developing, I understand about marination of the fight, but at some point in time, it gonna cause a time where it's time to fight. No.
So, he's stating that Tyson Fury is not the lineal champ. So he said, oh, well, we don't know what that is. You know, people know what a belt is. That's funny because Anthony Joshua said that same thing about that belt. That belt's not, it doesn't mean anything. And, you know, and he also stated that, hey, the lineal champion is Lennox Lewis. I don't know if he got that far, but he said that, you know, Tyson Fury, he wanted to get him in the ring. Let's see if he goes that far with explanation.
What? You know, we all want to be, you know, we all want to get our money for our family. We all want to do it, but sometimes it's just like me and the Fury thing. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do before the sake of boxing. For the sake of boxing, I meant, you know, and that's just what it's going to have to boil down to. So we'll see what happens. But the great thing about this all is all parties are still in discussion. It's like no door is closed, you know. Nobody's mind is closed from the idea of it happening. And that's the great thing about it. I think.
Okay, I had to stop him with that. Okay. He said, well, I know what marination is now. I know what patience is now. So I guess he didn't know that before. So if there was a narrative that the fight, for whatever reason, let's say it was on the half or the side of Joshua. Let's say they wanted to stretch that fight to make it bigger. And he now, you know, and before, because last year he was saying that he wanted to fight Joshua next. That's what all the Wilder fans were saying, right? That, hey, no, you know, Deontay wanted to have that fight next, right after Joshua. And Joshua was the one that did not want that fight, or his side didn't want that fight. Because, you know, what Barry Hearn said, let that fight happen 2020, and, you know what I mean, let it stretch. Why would you want it now? Now he's saying that. Now he's understanding business. Now he's saying, let it marinate. Now he's saying, let's have patience. Come patience. That's the Deontay Wilder word. Not, you know, with patience. Come patience. Like compassion, come patience. That's that's a new Wilder term. You know, with come patience. Like come patience. Cool. Okay, well, now he's saying that
fight will happen. You know, I'm gonna make it every bit of my power to make it fight. I'm gonna take every bit of my power to make this fight happen, and I hope they do the same. It's time out for the playing the games. You know what I mean? I wanted to happen for the fans, and I'm sure the fans wanted to happen. And like I said, once it goes solid in discussion, it's like no door is closed. You know, nobody's mind is closed from the idea of it happening, and that's the.
Okay, that was what I was talking to you guys about. And that's the last thing I want to bring up about this video. This is going to be shorter, but let me talk to you about this a bit. Now, Deontay Wilder just said the negotiations are still going. That's why the beauty of it is leaving no doors closed. Okay? That's funny because as I can recall, in an interview on The Boxing Voice, he said that I don't trust those people. You don't burn bridges, and that bridge is burnt. There's no ink in the pen. Remember that? So no, I don't want to talk to him at all about making anything. You know, those guys screwed us. They played with our emotions. So no, I don't want to go back to that. Everything that he's talked except up to this point has been in past tense, as though you can never relive or revisit or reopen. Now he's talking about now the doors are open. Okay, great. Hypocritical, contradicting, sure, but great. Now he's talking like someone has told him, like, hey, this fight is closer to being made now than ever before, because if you go out there and you lose to someone like Ortiz in a rematch, you know, or you get upset by, or not even upset by Fury, you get in there with Fury and he beats you, what do you think is going to happen now? You know, he said that everybody wants money for his family. He's the only one that hasn't received anything that he can speak of. So what are we even really talking about? We're talking about him revisiting a fight with Anthony Joshua. And that's what he's went on to say about most of this interview, okay, is about Joshua and, you know, and he talked a little bit about Fury. And that should tell you that Fury was not a main ingredient, okay? He was a ingredient. He was a substance in this equation, but he wasn't the main ingredient. It's always been Joshua, okay? Joshua is the guy to beat. Joshua is the unified champion. He is just a champion, okay? So I'm glad he changed his metaphors. Instead of burnt bridges, which that means you cannot go back over that bridge or revisit the other side. Now he's talking, he changed that to doors. Now at least doors are no closed. It's not closed anymore. So we can, you know, we can open, you know, we can keep these doors open. I'm sounding like Deontay, for Christ's sake. Anyway, listen to this guy. However, I feel that whoever is in charge of Deontay is now hinting that this fight can be made, and when it does get made, we won't know it will be made. Okay? So that's my take on this video. You guys tell me what you think about Deontay Wilder's last portion of his interview. Of course, please subscribe, guys. And you guys been Counterpunched. Peace.